So my name is Mark Walmsley, and I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. And I'm joined today for a quick chat by Vicki Lovegrove, who is our most recent subscribing founder member. And I just wanted to give Vicki an opportunity to say hello, because we'll put this on the LinkedIn group and in the community website as well. So thank you so much, Vicki, for joining me, and also for becoming our most recent subscriber. We've had a little chat before now, but do you want to say a few hellos? And just I'm fascinated to hear a little bit about the story of you going from a career in graphic design and using the experience that you've gained through that process to now help businesses, whether they're in the creative industries or not, who need to get the most out of their creative team.
Yeah, so I've got quite a diverse experience within graphic design. I've worked within the industry for over 30 years. I started off before computers, so doing paste up and stuff like that. I've worked in lots of different sections of graphic design, publishing, advertising, marketing, events, design agency, a lot of brand identity work. And I've run my freelance design business for 19 years. And I've really, really enjoyed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it that long. And then a few years back, I had it suggested to me that I'd had an experience with a client where they'd opened up and they'd told me everything about what was going on in their lives. And it was quite a heavy conversation. And it was suggested to me that I might be quite good at coaching. And that's why people kept doing this. So I've done a load of training, coaching training, and because of the conversation that I had at the time with this client and my experiences leading up to my during my coach training, I also qualified in a technique called havening. So I'm a certified havening practitioner, which is a touch technique which helps people overcome trauma. So yeah, I do that with people. I'm an NLP coach and timeline therapist as well, and I mainly work with creative people who are not in creative businesses. Excuse me, my phone's ringing. That's typical, isn't it?
Don't worry, the dogs will start. The dogs will start barking in a minute. So yeah.
And so yeah, I work with people who the business isn't a creative business, but they might have a small creative team, like a marketing person or a in-house designer, creative person, and it's all about supporting them and helping them build their confidence and grow into their roles, but also helping the companies understand how creative people work, because there can be, not always, but there can be misunderstanding. Whereas you might have a room where you can see the accounts team, you can see the sales team, you've got a creative person in the corner, and everybody else is sitting around diligently working, and the creative person might look like they're not working, and it's just because we need to get up and move about quite a lot in order to get our brains going.
I've been in rooms like that, absolutely. Two things come to mind. I don't know if you're familiar with Rory Sutherland. He's done some great TED Talks. I think he's the chairman of Ogilvy now, but he said, isn't it funny, when a creative team wants to do something, they have to go to the finance team to check that it's going to be affordable. But when the finance team wants to do something, they don't have to go to the creative team to check that it's sufficiently creative. So there are those different sort of perceptions in teams like that. A client of mine a few years ago put his whole team of about 40 people through Strength Finder, which is a book you read, and then it gives you 5 qualities at the end of it. Fascinating stuff. And at the end of that, he moved 4 people from his finance team into his creative team because they were square pegs in round holes. And it was amazing. So I know when we were chatting earlier, you said it's not just creative industries. These days, everybody has to be a bit more creative about how they operate, whether you're designing a brochure or talking at a conference. It's everybody's required in the same way that everybody is part of the business development team in a really strong business. That if you're out and you bump into somebody in a lift or at a conference, you need to be able to communicate exactly what is needed to have that person show some interest. So isn't it fascinating that, you know, the difference between the perceptions of a finance and an admin team and a creative and a marketing team,
Yeah.
you need both.
And also everybody needs to work on their own individual creativity as well. And you know, just because you've got a creative role in a business doesn't necessarily mean your creativity box is being ticked. You know, the work we do for clients is often a little bit soul destroying, not always, but often. And it depends where you work, but also it depends on your mindset as well. So it's about helping people to work on that mindset so they're not sitting there drowning in the lack of creativity, because it physically and mentally it's like a slow death if you're not being creative, and you should be creative. And sometimes you can get a little bit tunnel vision on that and feel that everything is going wrong. But with a different mindset, then you can build creativity outside of work a little bit more, and maybe treat work as a way to pay the bills, but find somewhere else to get your creative fulfillment. So, you know, it's looking at how I work with people is I look at people as a creative whole, and it's not just what your job is.
That's creative, WHOLE, isn't it?
Yeah.
So given that I want to help you make those connections in our network, because there'll be people in our wider network on LinkedIn and in our contact base and our subscriber base and the people who come to our events. What would be the first step with somebody who was either running a business that wanted your support for their own creative team, or somebody in a creative role at a non-creative or creative business who felt the need for some support? What can we do to help introduce you to the sort of people who might be of use in those circumstances?
Well, each month I have some free spots where I can meet people on Zoom, and we can talk about what it is they think they need and discuss that in more in detail, and discuss whether it's really coaching that they need or not. So that's a free thing that I do. I have a set amount of slots that I do each month of that. Um, and sometimes people get what they need from that, and then they can go away and work with their teams or carry on for a bit longer on their own, working through what we discuss. But often they feel then that, oh, actually, I would benefit from coaching. So, yeah.
Great. Well, we'll do what we can to spread the word for you. This has been great, Vicki. Thank you so much. Again, we'll put wherever this appears, there'll be contact details below or above or left or right. But please do get in touch with Vicki if you'd like to learn more about her coaching for creative people.
Thank you.